Good.
Perfect. So this is Skyslope Suite. This is what you're brought to each and every time that you log into your account. And from this page, obviously we're in my demo, so it looks slightly different, but from this page, we made it so you can quickly navigate into what you use most. So on the main page here, you're always able to quickly search a property number, or even if you want to go ahead and search by name, you could do that here as well. Underneath that are monthly statistics. So these are hyperlinked features that you can hop on into to quickly see scheduled closing files, active files, pending, and everything that you're currently working on. What we're going to focus on today is creating a transaction. So in every single time that you go to create a transaction, your first step is going to be to come to create new. You'll get a drop down and we're going to go ahead and select on create new transaction. Now, from here, it's going to ask us some questions. Obviously, this will be dependent on what you are working on at that time. And then here, it wants us to go ahead and enter in the address. So I have my address here. I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste this in, pull that, and then it will begin navigating us on over. Now, depending on your setup, obviously is going to be what's required and what's optional. The most important thing that you will select here when you're creating your transaction is the checklist. You always want to make sure you are selecting the most appropriate checklist for this type of sale. So for me, I'm just going to go ahead and put in that traditional sale and then proceed. Next, it's going to ask us the purchase price. Then we have the closing date, which we'll go ahead and enter this in as well. And then from here, we'll go ahead and enter in just some of, oops, the contacts that we need to fill out. And then we'll select continue. Now, the fields that you're entering, we want it to be as quick and possible or quick and easy as possible. So whatever you need to, get in, all you need to continue to do is go forward. And then this is just ensuring that the shell of the file is set up correctly. So here, if you want to put in your commission, note that you can it's defaulted to be on that percentage, but you can always update that to $1 if it's going to be a flat rate. But I'll go ahead and keep it on that commission, and then we'll proceed. And then just like that, we've created our first transaction. Now, every single file or transaction file that you create is going to have the same exact tabs in here. The difference is up at the top, you're obviously going to be able to see what property file this belongs to. Underneath that, you'll have the transaction tab. This is going to be any details affiliated with this transaction. Our contacts tab, any contact affiliated with this. You can always edit this when needed. All you need to do is select on that edit button. The commission tab, this is of course where you'll deal with anything that pertains to the dollar amount. And then the most frequently used tab is going to be the checklist tab. This is where you're going to be able to come and see underneath that status column what's required and what is if applicable. Anything that has that required status has been marked required by your admin team. So those are documents that they for sure want submitted. If you see something that has if applicable, it's just going to be if it is applicable to this type of sale. Now, a few different ways to get your documents into the appropriate sections. You can go ahead and let's say you have an icon on your desktop. You could drag that in right into the required status and it will store there. You can also select this attach button. This attach button will lead you on over to your documents tab where you can quickly grab a document. You can also search directly from your desktop if you needed to do that as well. Now, navigating back on over to the checklist, any file that you create, any transaction file you create, will automatically create this property specific email. And to be honest, this is probably one of my favorite features here with Skyslope. I want you to think of all of the back and forth emailing that you do with your clients, and there's probably PDFs and things that you guys are sending. And we want you to have the ability to CC this property specific email and any activity within the emails, as well as any PDF documents, are already going to store underneath that documents tab. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through that because I want you to see the benefit of CCing this property address when you're going in and creating these files. So I'm going to go ahead and reference this document that my client sent me. And whoops, wrong one here. And I want this packet to live within that transaction file that I just came from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select forward. I'm going to go ahead and put in that property address, and then I'm going to go ahead and press send. So what this is doing is rather than coming in and downloading the document, uploading the document, getting it where it's intended to be, by putting in that property specific email, this packet is already going to exactly where it's intended to be. So let's show you what I mean. As I mentioned, anything that's sent to this property specific email will automatically be stored underneath that documents tab. So when I navigate on over to documents, you're going to see that listing packet is already here waiting for us that we just sent over from my email. Any questions on that property specific email?
How do we list something as an email instead, so that we can find it later, instead of having it all be here as a document?
Okay, so what she's trying to explain to you, I'm sorry, Chantel,
Yeah.
we have a question here. So she's telling you that when you create the transaction, you have your own email, right? So what happens is
I understand.
you go to your email and it floats over into your document. Under your log, you will show that you had an email coming. You could open it and see what that email was. The attachments are also there too. And they're in your documents, the attachment.
Where?
Documents. So under documents,
How do I put it in my checklist?
oh, you have to assign it, and she's going to get to that next. So she's now entered into the actual documents, and she's ready to assign it. And she's going to get into that. Shante?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask one question too? Because you said email. Whose email? Is it the client's email or is it your email, the agent's email?
What do you mean by that?
Okay. When you said go over to the email, is that the client's email or is it the agent's email?
So this is a property specific email created within the transaction. The transaction file that you create. So if you copy this and from your email that you're corresponding with your client with, if you just CC that email, anything that's sent back and forth will automatically be stored in your Skyslope account.
So are you saying that if you already have a file in Skyslope, it's gonna automatically give us an email address to where we can forward it to?
Correct.
That makes sense because I didn't know whose email it was. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so any transaction you create, it automatically creates this email that belongs to that transaction to allow you to do that if you want to forward over documents, over emails, so you could have it all under Skyslope.
How can we find it as an email?
Oh, you go to log.
But I don't want to wait under log. I just want one category on my checklist. How do I create that bucket?
I don't understand what you mean. Can you click log for me?
Yeah. Hey, everybody, why don't we just kind of finish going through this as well? And then if there's any questions, we can always answer that, but I don't want us to get ahead of ourselves.
That's fine, Shante. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So any document underneath this tab here, what you're able to do is we're able to split apart documents within Skyslope. So I want you to think of those large packets that you get. and maybe currently you're printing them out, you're separating them, uploading them, you have the ability to split apart those large documents here within Skyslope. So I'm going to reference that packet we just sent over from Julia and then select split. Once I select split, we do have an AI component, and the more times that you do this, the more times that we'll begin learning the document. We're just going to clear the suggestions, and then we're going to do this manually. So any document that you have in that Documents tab, when you select split, you're able to split this apart based on your checklist. So you'll see when I select into that new document name, it's pulling up the required statuses on that checklist as well as the optional here. So let's say I'm just gonna put in some random required documents. And then last one here. And then we're gonna go ahead and you have two options. You can select split, and this would split it exactly how we detailed it here and save it underneath the Documents tab. But we want to split and assign. So I'm going to select split and assign. It says 4 were attached to your checklist. So we'll go over to the checklist. And you're now going to be able to see those once required statuses are now in review. That means it's been submitted on your behalf. It's now in the hands of your admin team to go in and either approve or deny. Now, anytime your admin team goes in and accepts or denies a document, it will send over an email. So you're always able to keep up with the what's happening within that checklist. This broker Bob will obviously be replaced by your admin team's name. But when you select on in here, you're going to be able to see that the checklist has been updated. Here's the property address, and then here is a bird's eye view of that checklist. Now you can quickly reference, okay, my listing agreement's good to go. That's been approved. This copy of the MLS printout, I still need to get in because it is a required document. And then if anything was marked incomplete, this means that they rejected an item. And they have the ability to detail out why they rejected it. You'll be able to see here, missing signature on page 2. You could get that submitted and then resubmit that to your team. Now, as mentioned, that property specific email, if you CC this in any email correspondence with your client, we've already covered that the PDF will be stored underneath documents. But in addition to that, what Anna was referencing is the log tab. Skyslope's core product began here for compliance, and we want to keep compliance in as many features as we possibly can. And that is going to be here underneath the log tab. You're going to be able to see any activity. So from when the file was created to contacts being changed. And then if you are getting a PDF format or using that CC'd email, you're going to have a hyperlink. So you'll see here, it's indicated by email received. There's an attachment. This is indicating that there was an attachment to that email. So when I select on that hyperlink, you're going to be able to see the email that was sent, and then here is an attachment. So even if we didn't attach it directly to the checklist when we received it, I could say, oh, okay, well, here's my attachment. So I know that this is in there. Then you can go reference that underneath the Documents tab because it's going to be here if it's underneath the Log tab. So did that help answer any questions?
Did I help it? Okay. Yes, it did. Thank you.
Okay, cool, of course. So again, that log tab is a great way for you to always reference any activity that took place in the log, but also for you to reference, okay, well, you know, I could leave a note, I could edit anything in here, you can search. So any activity that takes place in here, your admin team will have access to and you will have access to. Now, at any time, if this falls through, you'll be able to cancel the transaction. We always want to ensure you detail out why, because in order for this to fully be canceled, it is sent to your admin team to fully cancel it out. Putting the reason there will help them quickly understand why it was canceled.
And I actually do all the canceling. So you would just email me the cancellation, I'll execute it, and then I will handle the cancellation part.
And if an expired one is still showing up as active, how do we get rid of that one?
And are we talking about a listing or are we talking about a sale? Expire just means that the date of the closing of, has expired.
Right.
So until we cancel it, it won't go away.
So I have to tell someone to cancel it.
And yeah, provide us the cancellation documents, yes. Sorry, Chantel. Go
No,
ahead.
you're okay. So that's pretty much everything that I wanted to go ahead and cover here today with creating a transaction. That is the full step of going in, creating the transaction, getting the appropriate documents, and then uploading them into the checklist. Again, the checklist is going to be your most frequently used tab, as that's where you're going to be able to submit all documents that are needed. Now, the only thing that I do have is if at any time you have any questions, all you need to do is navigate on over to our support page. We have all of the resources that you need to really become confident in everything that you're doing within Skyslope. I can let you know, I depend heavily on our support team on a daily basis, from questions to having them to scheduling calls with them. You have that same access. And in addition to that, if you're coming over here and let's just say, I want to look up canceling a transaction, creating a transaction, you have all of the resources you need at your fingertips to really understand every single process. But that does cover it. And I don't know if you want me to cover anything else while we're on here, or if there are
A
any.
question for you. If we've
Yeah.
archived something, how does the agent, where does the agent find that archive file?
Great question. So this more drop down here is going to allow for you to reference your access archives and your canceled contracts. So if I'm the agent and I know, well, Anna archived this, rather than combing through all the transactions, I'm just going to go to that more drop down, select access archives, and they're all here waiting for me. Well, I only have one, but they would all be here.
Right.
Chantal,
Yeah.
yeah, what if you want to download all the documents in your file, in the Skyslope file into your computer?
Mhm.
Is that possible to do that?
Yeah, so if you're doing an archive file, on the far right-hand side of that property address, you're going to be able to select download. And if you're just wanting
Oh,
the
download,
documents,
oh, okay,
you'd select all documents.
okay.
If you're doing it within an actual file, let me hop in here real quick. On the Documents tab, you would select this empty box next to document name. That's going to select every single document that's listed in this list. And then you could select download files. That would download everything into your desktop.
Oh, good.
What if
Thank
the
you.
checklist doesn't have a document, a name for something that's required?
So you have one or two choices. You have the ability to create the name under the checklist or
Agents don't have that option, Anna.
oh, they do
No,
not.
they do not.
Oh, so sorry. You could leave it under your documents and just make sure you name it and you could get to it. And if you feel very strongly you want it in a checklist, let me know and I'll create it for you. And why is that, Chantel? Just to keep it.
Keep it so, in agents don't have access to the back end like admins do, and that is considered a back end item.
Gotcha.
I have another question.
Yeah.
Earlier from the email, you uploaded it to, I mean, you forwarded it to Skyslope and then you did the split. So it automatically goes to wherever file that it should go.
Say that one more time.
When you did the split, you forwarded the email, the documents from the email. You forwarded it to Skyslope and then you did the split thing.
Yeah.
So it goes automatically to where it's supposed to go. We don't need to pick and choose.
Are you talking about the email knows exactly where to go or the document?
The documents from the email.
So the document, you would have to do what we covered. So let's revisit that real quick.
When you split it.
So when you select split, give that one more second. Okay. You'll be able on the left-hand side, you're just picking stuff from the checklist. So you're able to pull over what's required and if applicable on the checklist and quickly assign that. In order to assign it to the checklist, how you broke it down here, you have to select split and assign. If you just select split, it's only going to save it how you broke it down.
Oh, okay.
Chantel, so I think what they're saying is you go in there and you say you want to split and it splits it automatically for you. But I've noticed sometimes it doesn't match the document. So either you correct the name of the document or you clear suggestions and just do it manually and split everything. So you just have to be careful. Skyslope is trying to remember the name of the document. Eventually it'll get caught up to it. But right now, sometimes it'll say other. And so that's when you know you have to go in there and fix it or just clear everything and you assign directly yourself.
Exactly.
So other than that, if you split and assign, it goes directly to the document name.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah, it's super helpful. Ultimately, Skyslope just wants to reduce as much manual work as we possibly can.
I have a question.
Oh, I have a question here. 1 second. Go ahead.
What exactly is Skyslope and why do we need it as an agent?
Skyslope is our internal system. This is how we keep, so instead of having a file on your desk, we have something that's called Skyslope, which is paperless, and everything's put into this file that is electronically that you could work. Avoids having, I love it. I used to have files and you couldn't see me because the files were so high. And when Skyslope came to my life, it made it much easier. I love Skyslope.
It's like, you're not used to that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
but there's tutorials on how to do.
Yes, as she showed you, she went to the little operator. Yeah, that gives you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Another question? Yes.
Does the company want us to input, let's say, for example, we do a purchase offer and it's rejected into Skyslope?
All the transactions.
So even the rejected,
Yes.
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
and
There's a lot of time, even if the transaction is not successful, you have record of what you have done for your client. In case your client sue you later, you have the documents to support you.
So say you have a transaction, so you did decide to select this offer, but you got additional offers, you could put them into your documents and you could call it offer 1, offer 2, offer 3, and
Exactly.
so on. So you'll have everything there in case you ever need to get to it.
can I create a bucket saying rejected offers?
You could.
Okay.
You could put in your documents and call it that. Rejected number 1, rejected number 2.
I can create a file folder in Skyslope?
No, you could put the actual item into it, the rejected offer, and you can name that rejected offer.
But I can't put it in a file so that it's not cluttering up my other stuff.
You could move it, and Chantel, I know that we have trash, we have admin, and we have under the move document. Can you go there?
Yeah, let me get back into that transaction. 1 second here.
Anna, do we pay for this as an agent or not?
No, it's paid by you, Peter. The only thing you would have to pay for if you wanted to use DigiSign for electronic signature, then that would be something you would have
And
to
we
pay.
can do that through Skyslope.
You could, and you could pay it through Skyslope.
So what Anna's referring to is like if I were to grab this packet here, I'm going to select that and then I'm going to select move and we can move that to the trash. Now it will remain in your trash folder, but it will be located under the trash. So if you have it minimized, you're not going to see anything in there. So it's quickly able for you to organize. But in addition,
The only thing is you put it in the trash. I don't know.
But it doesn't go away. She's telling you, your trash remains there and you could move things in, move things out as you need them. But so your reject offers could go under trash if they're labeled. Can you show her one more time?
Yeah,
you.
real quick though, too.
Rejected offers?
You, you could call your document rejected offer number 1, rejected offer number 2, and under trash, that's what it's gonna show. But it's
Well,
gonna be under trash.
Sounds too
Real-
little.
I'm
real-
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, real quick, everybody. So you have an add folder button in your documents tab. So if you're concerned about rejected offers, then create a folder, rejected offers,
Oh, okay.
save.
You feel
That's what I
happier?
was asking.
Okay.
And then, as Anna's saying, name it, rename it. That way it's uniformed. Rejected offer 1, save. And then we're going to find that rejected offer. We are going to move, and we're going to move that into rejected offers. That way,
That's what I
to the
wanted.
checklist out of its current folder.
You could add a folder, yes.
Yeah.
Anna, I get confused. What is split for? I don't know what is.
You have many items, bulk items of documents that you receive.
Right.
In order to assign them to your checklist, you have to split them. You have to call them so they could be able to be pulled into your checklist. So you're splitting them. You're saying the AD goes here on the checklist, the PRPS goes here on the checklist. You're just dividing. Can you do a split, Shante? Thank you.
So we're going to go ahead and grab this packet. You have to select the empty box on the left-hand side, and then we're going to select split. When I select split, that's when that screen we just saw comes up, and we manually split apart the packet. So here, I'm going to clear the suggestions, and you're going to pull over. When you select in here, you're pulling from the checklist to name it. Separate from page 1 to 5. So that means that 1 to 5 is going to be saved as copy of MLS printout. This one, short sales, 6 to 11. That's how you're separating them. Split and assign, you're also assigning it to the checklist. So you'll see you split 2 documents, and those 2 documents were attached to your checklist.
Does it help you?
I know, yeah.
I'll do it individually with you. Thank you, Shante.
Yeah, of course. But we're coming up on time here. Any other last minute questions? Do we feel a little bit better after this?
No questions? No more questions? Anybody from Zoom? Thank you so much, Chantel. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
being here and giving
Thank
us
you, Shante.
terrific training.
Yeah, of course. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your time. And again, please contact support, use our support page. You have all of the resources that you need. We always want you guys to feel the support of our support team. So please take advantage of them.
They're available 24/7. What more can you have?
And Skyslope for dummy.
They have basically that on there.
Yeah. Just come to me and I'll show you how to go to the tutoring.
Awesome.
Thank you again, Chantal. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Oh, Henry.
You want to come with me?
No, I'll throw the app.
You sure?
Thank you, yeah, appreciate it.
Okay, so-
Appreciate it.
Rebecca,
This-
you want me to show you the?
This,
I'll be here for- okay.
It doesn't have a driver. So you need. They don't have the contract.
How do I stop recording?
It's just physical inspection. So they cannot do the HOA inspection. You find another one, but the other ones, well, all the commercial, residential, you can do it.
How do I stop recording?
Oh, no, you don't, you just leave it alone.
Hey, I'll do it myself?
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Okay, nice.
All right. Let me. I don't have to stop one. I don't have to turn it off, you have, because it has to do the recording.
Recording stop. I know she always at the end says recording
Right,
stop.
where's the recording? What's your eyes right here?